In the last video, we went over the 3 stages of depletion: the whispers, the warnings, and the alarm bells. And I hope now you have a little more language around what your body might be trying to tell you. Now here's where it gets interesting, because most of us, when we realize we're depleted, we do try and do something about it. We reach for rest, we try to make changes, and yet so many of us still feel exhausted. In this video, I'm going to talk about why that happens, about the choices that feel like rest, that we've been taught are rest, but actually don't really restore. In her book, Sacred Rest, Dr. Saundra Dalton-Smith identifies 6 common things we think of as rest, but actually don't restore us. Today, I'm going to walk you through each one from my own experience and perspective, because when we can see what doesn't actually restore, it's one step towards what does. The first one is vacations. We work hard, we burn out, we book a trip. And there's nothing wrong with that. A change of scenery can actually offer some relief. But how many of us have gone on a vacation and when we've got back, have actually put up our hand and said, I need a vacation from my vacation? True rest isn't built in occasional escapes. It's built in daily rhythms, small, consistent ways that we weave rest through everyday life. A 2-week holiday can't undo months of depletion, and it was never designed to. The second one is downsizing, clearing your schedule, removing commitments, making space. But really, it depends on what we're filling that space with. Is the time you've made filled with what your mind, body, and spirit actually need? Or is it quietly filled with more doing, more caretaking, more scrolling, more stimulation? An empty calendar isn't the same as rest. It's a container. And so it really depends on what you put in it. Then there are medications and supplements, such as sleeping pills and CBD oil, pretty much anything we reach for to help us switch off. As an example, medications can support sleep, but they don't touch the deeper forms of depletion that are present. The relational, the mental, the emotional, these all take a different kind of tending. Over the years, I've tried several different things. And some of them did help, but only for a short time. As I mentioned in the other video, they only mask the symptoms and they don't really get at what's truly underneath. Fourth, and this one might surprise you, is extra sleep. Have you ever gone to bed, slept 9 or 10 hours, and woke up feeling tired the next day? That's not just you. That's because rest and sleep are 2 very different things. One of my sayings is that if we can rest better during the day, we will sleep better at night. Because even with plenty of sleep, you still might be craving connection or emotional release, as these are forms of rest. Sleep alone can't fill those cups. Rest needs to come first. Now this next one I want to spend a little bit more time on, because I think most of us are in denial of this one: multitasking. We've been sold the idea for a long time that multitasking is a skill. It's a badge of honor, that the more we can juggle, the more reliable, more valuable, and more efficient we are. And we've got so good at doing it that we don't even notice we're doing it anymore. So here's a test for you. What do you do while you're brushing your teeth? I know what I do, and it's a lot in 2 minutes. I usually, by the time I'm done brushing my teeth, have done 5 things around my house, such as open the living room curtains, open the window, maybe check my phone and see if there's any urgent messages. I start going through my to-do list in my head. It's amazing how just in a short period of time, we can multitask so many things. And that's just brushing my teeth. Another good one that I talk about is what you do when the kettle's boiling. A lot of the time, if I'm really not paying attention, I'll start to boil the kettle, walk away, and then 20 minutes later forget that I was even making a cup of tea because I've gone and done multiple different things and completely forgotten. And there's really clear science on this about how multitasking really fatigues the brain rather than focusing on just one thing at a time. Every time we split our attention, it drains us, and we've just gotten so used to it that we don't even notice anymore. Maybe you can relate to this. You're so used to multitasking that trying to focus on one thing is actually uncomfortable. You feel like you're wasting time and that you should be doing more in the 15 minutes that you have free. But that discomfort you're feeling, that's worth paying attention to because it's a sign of depletion. And then there's the last one, complaining. And this is pretty personal for me, so I share this with a lot of compassion. Because during my depletion, during the hardest stretch of it, I was deep in this pattern and I didn't even realize it. In one of my past positions, complaining became quite normal. And it wasn't just venting. It ended up being like a daily rhythm. The same conversations, the same frustrations, all stuck in the same loop of exhaustion, sharing with colleagues, all who were just as depleted as I was. It felt like we were connecting. It felt like relief in the moment. But here's what I understand now. Exhaustion can become a part of our identity, something we carry and retell to whomever will listen. And while those feelings are completely valid, it's energy being spent in the wrong places. It keeps the energy stuck. It doesn't move anything forward, and it definitely doesn't restore. What I wish I knew then was how to redirect that complaining energy to something else. Maybe a walk or a quiet moment outside rather than in the lunchroom with colleagues. Something that would actually restore. It's not about needing to be overly positive or optimistic. It's more about noticing. Where is your energy going? And can you put it into something that actually fills you up rather than depletes you? So if you've done some of these, as many of us have, I hope you understand a little bit more about why you don't feel rested afterwards. It doesn't mean you were doing it wrong. It means you weren't certain at the time what type of rest you actually needed. And that's exactly what the next video is going to be about. Because once we understand why rest matters, not just for how we feel, but for what happens in our bodies when we're depleted, everything starts to shift.